Okay. Blah, blah. I needed that. This is the HPEG stuff. Get migrations to run. So right now, this is a function with from type rev to list of migrations to list of migrations. But if you want to handle errors, there's this data type in Haskell which is called either. And you can just do this. Then you get compile errors. Let me see if I can actually. So one of the things which I like about Haskell is that if you want to implement something, you change the type, then see what other things you need to change. So let's try and do that. Currently, it's complaining that we want to return have not been run, but it's expecting either string or list of migration, right? So, and this is of type list. So this is something we can do. Pure is, because either is also a monad, we can lift this have not been run thing into a context of pure. We could also have written this. And then there's still another compile error. I'll also show you pure to see that that also compiles. The compile error is here. Because now this is, the error isn't too obvious, right? GHC is complaining that this M thing here is of type list of migration instead of migration. That's a bit weird. But it's because either is also traversable. And so 4M works on it. And it's a traversable with, if it's a right, it's a traversable with one element. And if it's a left, it's a traversable with 0 elements, I believe. And then this M will be the list of the migrations. So something we need to like change the type. To run used to be of type list of migrations, but now it's of type either string list of migrations, and we need to change that. So, and ideally, it won't cause us a bunch of boilerplate, and ideally, we want to, also print a nice error message for our users. So, one of the things we could do is like to run real is case to run of left, whoops. I don't know if you can do this actually. Left error, but that's all getting annoying. I have not also not prepared that. Something you can do is this, right? You wanna, you have this either. So this expression has type either, and then there's this function which is called either with a lowercase e, either. This one. It's in Prelude, and if you've never seen it, it takes two things, two functions, one which to execute or run in case the either is a left, and one to execute in case the either is a right. They both need to return the same, a value of the same type, and then either returns that stuff. So this is not obviously useful, right? Because we want to maybe print a message and exit the program if we have, for the user, if this thing returns a left, and we want to continue execution if this thing has a right. So how do you use either, the either function with a lowercase e for something like this? Well, well, we need to fill in something here, and we need to fill in something here. Given that this function returns either string list of migration, we have a string here. The string could be an error message that we want to display to the user, and we want to exit. Also note that we're in main, so we're in I/O. So something we can do at this point is actually perform an I/O action. And this I/O action could be something like print this and then exit the program. That's a valid I/O action. And there is such a function which does this. It's called die. It takes a string, returns an I/O action of any type. You can, because it terminates the program. It will also set the exit status. This is a typo. So here we can, so in case we have a left, we die, right? So then the return value of this whole expression will be I/O list of migrations, ideally. So either we exit the program with an error message, or we get our list of migrations. But we need to do something here to make this work. So let's ask what we need to do to make that work. The underscore is and I introduced this for whatever purpose. So this is complaining. It says, I want this underscore to be a function from list of migration to I/O traversable of migration. The traversable is down somewhere. And how do you take a pure value and make it, or how do you take any value and put it into an I/O? Return impure. Yes, exactly. So we can do this. And then the other type error, which was about ambiguous type variables, is getting removed. So this kind of line, I think this is pretty concise and pretty cool. You have this pure function either, and then you use do notation outside of the pure function to exit early. And it also means that inside of this function, right, you can, inside of this function, you can use the do notation for eithers. So you also don't need to write the kind of foobar case statements, that kind of stuff. So if you separate your functions a bit, if you can, then you can avoid getting complex with monad transformers and lifting a bunch of stuff if you think about the types. This does not work in all cases, but sometimes you can get away with it with something like this. So I'll leave you with doing the actual validation for doing left or right and deciding when you want to return stuff in this function for a bit. Any questions about this, actually?
So I have a question about the validation.
Yes.
Will there be a case when all the migrations have to run?
Yeah, so how do you disambiguate between
a case when you have an error because the revision is some garbage,
mm-hmm.
and an actual initial revision that is that indicates all the migrations have to run?
Oh, right. Yeah, you're probably running into the case where you the current revision is bootstrap,
right.
And then okay. So I would if I would Sorry about that, but if I would have to solve it, I would like just do this.
All right.
And that makes your problem go away. And then it's then you can actually return an empty list and stuff. And then this logic here becomes a bunch more simple. I did not update the tests because I did not actually write them ahead of time, so it will take me a bunch of time to do that. So sorry, you gotta figure that one out yourself. Any other questions about this, or about types, or about changing stuff, refactoring stuff?
Can I ask a library question?
Yes.
Is there an easy way to get Postgres to stop logging the notices about us not doing anything with the idempotent
stuff?
I'm sure there's a setting somewhere, I just have no idea where.
Yeah, I was also annoyed by that. I haven't fixed it yet, but I guess you could. And if there isn't any way to do that, you could mess around with file descriptors, because it's, yeah. I don't know how you could do that currently.
I have a question. Is there like a corresponding function to either lowercase, either like for maybe?
It's called maybe, lower score maybe,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, if you use the maybe here, actually, you can use a function maybe lowercase. But then you don't have a string value to pass to this exit die thing, so you need like to do something like that. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Something like that. Yes, of course.
So the exit.die function returns like IO unit.
IOA.
IOA.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I
And-
understand how it works.
And because it can return a value of any type, because the program is just going to exit anyway. So then you can use it to make it type check. It's the same as undefined, basically.
Okay. Yeah. I was kind of confused later.
Yeah. Getting there, right? Let's forget. Yeah.
This isn't your last session, is it? There's still one more, right? Cool.
Yeah. What? All right, have you maybe figured out how you can do the left and right thing in the get migrations to run? That's very nice. Then I'll try to show you as well. So oh. So one of the things you can do if you're in either is use do notation, and that's pretty sweet. Because one of the things that do notation helps you with is to eliminate case expressions. And one of the things you can do using that is write pretty cool code. So let's rewrite this a bit and add do here. Yeah, I added the pure. The pure is there already, but then we don't need this. So let's do something like this. This should compile. We haven't changed the code yet. So there's some cool stuff. It's in control monad, and it's called when. It's basically like an if statement, but it gives you, I'm not sure why it's in control.monad, because it's doing something on applicatives, but hey. It conditionally evaluates an applicative expression. So you can give it like a Boolean, and if the Boolean is true, then the action is run, and otherwise it is not run. Then it's just pure. So one of the things you can do in do notation, and one of the things which is specific to either, is whenever you do something like pure, you do left something, it sort of short circuits, and it won't evaluate all of this. So that's something that we're going to try and do. So there's when, and we need a Boolean thing, and then we want to, yeah, basically active rev is not in all migrations. Well, these error messages could obviously be a bunch better, but we then need, but it gets the point. You get the point, right? And you could also, instead of strings, use a custom error type. Basically the same. So then the question is, what do we put here? Well, that's the actual domain code, the non-control flow code. I want to do something with active rev, not lm, fmap, m, rev, all migrations should sort of be it. Because fmap, mrev, all migrations turns this list of migrations into a list of revs, and not lm is something from, what's it called? It's in Prelude. It checks if an element is a type of a foldable, and list is a foldable. So you can use not lm to check if an element is not in the list. And we had an equality thing instance, and that's also a requirement of this function. So this hopefully compiles. Oh, damn it. Oh, I know what's going on. I have 2 stacked processors running. That's not very, or multiple even. Yeah, right. Just to make sure. So that this type checks, and it's like the first time you see this, you're like, oh, this is a bit maybe a bunch of magic, but it's very nice if you want to have multiple validation steps. So then you can just copy paste this line and be like this, and do all the error messages and conditionals here. You could even abstract over that. You can even make, yeah, you can do a bunch of things. And that is something which is way better than case something of left, right, good, bad, and then case, good, of, etc., etc., etc. Because, yeah, this is just like control flow boilerplate, and this is starting to get nice and like early return type of stuff. So when is a very useful function in my opinion, and I was very excited when I learned about it. It can be used for this, it can also be used for, because it's doing stuff in Monad, you can also use it for I/O, and you can also use it for maybe, and you can also use it for a bunch of things. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so right, we need one of these, and we can get rid of that, and it still builds. So right now it's not complaining about anything, and I have like this minimal thing to convince you, like this ASDF thing is not in this kind of list. So now when we recompile and run this, it will trigger this bit of code. Is that reasonably convincing to you that we now have some validation? Is it also reasonably convincing to you that this kind of stuff can be pretty useful? Any questions about all of this? All right. Next part is, well, now we have like a general way to do a bunch of validation. So all the other validation is a bit routine. You can think of other error cases if you like, other things you might want to know, like duplicates and a bunch of stuff, but that's for later if you want to have some time, if you have time. Like what else is on the program is, yeah, so we did like, do these types still make sense? We changed them, and now it's time to actually maybe take a look at how you can do a bit of a CLI. So schema control up, schema control down, that type stuff. And if that's not very interesting to you and you want to do, yeah, you want to skip that, and you're more interested in parsers, that's also fine. We'll still get to those today. So, yeah, I really hope we can make it like here. That would be very nice. Then it's like the whole thing sort of minimally useful build. So CLI, I guess. So good luck. Oh yeah, and if the CLI is too annoying, or if the actual upgrade downgrade stuff is annoying, then you can also skip the downgrades. It makes things a lot easier. And if you just want to get a feel for parsing CLI options and you just want to get a feel for parsing files, then you can skip downgrades. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
It's basically all done. This is like the, it's stupid, but it's, you know, the first thing I would actually probably want to use. So up, run 1 and 2, up again, nothing, down, down 0, down 2 and 1, down again, nothing, clean. And it's, I'm definitely cheating. So my basic thing that I'm doing right now is in place the config file, literally just find, get me my ups sorted, filter those based on, you know, greater than or less than or equal to, and that's it. You get tons of awful special purpose thing, and the real terribleness is this. So for finding the what you set it down to when you're rolling back, literally just assume that you have an active revision at I-1, which is terrible.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing to fix.
Yeah, right.
It works, which is cool. The problem is it's assuming that your file system is in a certain configuration, and if you're not, the world explodes. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's a nice thing to fix.
One of the original reasons I put an index file in there is because when you have like a team working on migrations and you have Git branches, you want to have an order.
People try to come in the same version at the same time. Yeah.
And you don't want to have to like, you want Git rebase to be easy, and you want Git rebase to tell you when you are trying to do 2 migrations at the same time, and Git rebase will tell you if you have that index file, and that's pretty nice.
It definitely makes sense. The only reason I'm fighting it has just been to get it end-to-end working as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
You know, probably I'll end up there. It's just like, dragging my heels. It's funny though, because there are a ton of ORM type systems that do migrations, and it's all just file system based. You know, it's literally just drop this thing here with a timestamp, but that's it.
Yeah. Ideally, you also want to do a bit of hashing, and you want to like be able to detect when the file changed.
I guess they're more dev oriented than they are
Ops
production environment and operations oriented.
Yeah, that's true.
Scrappier.
But I'm actually glad you sort of like the design.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, it's interesting to just kind of temporarily run off in a certain direction, see where you end up, and then eventually come back in.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't touched the tests at all yet. I need to.
No, I didn't write any tests for this while doing it for here, because I was like, okay, not also doing HVAC.
It's mostly a side effects thing, so it's a little rough. But
Yeah. 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 Sid would be upset with me.
So basically, we would have like 2 arguments. One is for the either going up or down,
Mm-hmm.
and the file path to the file with the migrated.
Yeah, you can also hard code it if you want, or you can, yeah. I would say hard code the order in which you can implement this is probably first use the let all migrations thing, and then later, and then implement up or down and do the filtering on that, and then later you can read the all migrations thing from a file and change the C line maybe also.
I'm also really light on types so far. I started off just throwing strings around everywhere, and just converted over to your rev type, and that's pretty much all I'm using so far. No proper migration type or anything like that. That's the next step as well.
Yeah, you'll need the type if.
I'm going to end up with, even if I didn't have a file itself, I would end up with that representation of it in memory while running either way. So in some form, it'll be there.
Yeah, one of the things you at a certain point just do automatically is if you have a problem to solve is create a type for it, and then because that allows you to reason about things, and it also allows you to reason about the information you're going to need. That helps you write better functions, I find.
Yeah, I'm very much in the habit of working backwards compared to most Haskellers.
Ah, well.
It's a bad habit.
So if you don't use it, let's say you want to study. Yeah, but you have to use it.
Oh yeah, I write this.
Yeah, the X, the thing, it's evaluated, but when you print, it's print X.
All right, and before we head for the break, I want to sort of show you the general structure of this. So, yeah, we're good. This is like our usage, right? So we have schema control, and we can say up or down, and that we want the user to be able to type that. There's this function getArgs, which returns you an IO string from system environment, so then we can try to use it. It's an IO action, so do something like that. It's complaining that we don't have it in scope. Let's try to do something like that. Qualified import. And then, well, we have these arguments, right? So what is the thing that we want to have? We also already have this event type data thing, which our other functions already support. So it would be very useful if we could get a value out for event type to use with our CLI. So let's try if we can do something like this. What we need here is the question. Well, we need something which takes this string and returns an event type, but it doesn't work in all cases, right? So we want to have a maybe event type. And then the question is, yeah, we're not going to use this still. So does this work? Oh yeah, I cannot decide on yeah, the rest of this compiles. So then we need parse opts args, basically. But then it's complaining, hey, well, I don't know about you, but I hear you're saying, hey, you're returning a maybe, and yeah, here I want this IO thing. We want this line to either get us the event type or print the usage and exit with status code 1, basically. So same thing as here. So we can try that one more time. Instead of the either function, we use the maybe function. Maybe exit die, and then we need a string for exit die. We have this bit of documentation saying what the usage is, and otherwise pure, because we need an IO thing. And that compiles again. So then you have, this would be like the structure you can use in order to get, again, this kind of pure function, which takes a list of strings to a maybe event type. And this could be your type for your option parsing. And there's also a break.